Blog Talk Radio.
Progressive presents.
Management or sponsors. As always, we're
Progressive presents.
management or sponsors. As always, we're privileged.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
Before you lies a beautiful meadow. In that meadow, Progressive Direct has placed its auto insurance rates alongside those of competitors. You select the lowest rate and feel a great sense of calm. A great sense of...
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates so you can rest easy. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Blog Talk Radio.
Today's franchise interview shout-out goes to the Source Direct. Source Direct is an inventor's one-stop shop. Source Direct eliminates the disconnect in dealing with different companies from each phase of development and marketing. Instead, Source Direct can manage every stage of the process from the drawing board to the customer. Go to thesourcedirect.net and find out how you can get started. That's www.thesourcedirect.net.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Kate Doyle, the Franchise Development Marketing Manager at Club Pilates. And founded in 2007, Club Pilates is a boutique fitness studio that specializes in strength training classes for anyone at any age or any fitness level. We're going to talk to Kate about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Franchise Teacher. Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts, of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Kate Doyle, the Franchise Development Marketing Manager at Club Pilates. And founded in 2007, Club Pilates is a boutique fitness studio that specializes in strength training classes for anyone at any age or any fitness level. Hi, Kate. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Marty. Thank you for having me.
This is my pleasure, Kate. We always like to ask our guests where you're calling from today.
I am in Costa Mesa, California.
Oh, beautiful. I guess is it safe to ask how the weather is there today?
It's actually June gloom, so it's a little...
Is it really? Oh, geez. Okay. And that's where your headquarters is located as well, isn't it, Kate?
Yes, that's correct.
Maybe you could walk us through the Club Pilates concept, Kate, and its inception, how did the brand get its start?
Sure. So the brand was founded by a lady called Alison Beardsley in 2007. She opened her first location in San Diego, California. She is a devout Pilates instructor, lives it and breathes it, and just really wanted to open her own studio. And then she opened a second one a few years later and realized that in order to get it really moving and shaking, that she would entertain the idea of franchising the concept, which she did start in 2012. And then in 2015, Anthony Geisler, who now currently owns the company, he purchased it. And so when Alison sold it to us, she had about 30 open and about 100 sold, and then we've grown it in the last 2.5 years to have more than 500 sold.
That's very impressive, isn't it, Kate? Yeah, you've hit some, those are like milestones. When I was reviewing and studying, your franchise model, you've hit some milestones. One is, I guess you're coming up on your 10th year anniversary of starting the company. If you started in 2007, which is a milestone, and then that 500 number, I've always understood that's a big milestone number as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a huge achievement, and we owe it to our amazing teams here in the corporate office and all of our amazing franchisees who have really embraced the brand and absolutely love it and have built an incredible community with their member bases in their local markets.
It's interesting with Pilates, and I never knew this, Kate. I'm sure you know that. Pilates is actually, it's an older concept, and then at some point in America, anyway, it really started to take off. I know that millions of people are participating in some type of Pilates activity. How does Club Pilates stand out from other boutique fitness concepts, then, Kate?
Well, I think traditionally Pilates has been mostly mat Pilates is what is most attainable for people because it's a cheaper class. It's easier to get to. A lot of big box gyms as well as smaller studios can offer that. Whereas where we sort of differentiate is, we've really decided that the reformer machine and some apparatus around that is really what people find the most benefit from their workout. And so essentially what we decided to do is look at how that's been, received in the market. And for the most part, studios really were only able to do one, maybe two reformers, and it meant that classes were very expensive. So now with our franchising model, we've been able to have 12 reformers in every class, in every studio across the entire country, and it's meant that people now can have a best-in-class classes throughout the day rather than just first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening, which is kind of traditionally how Pilates studios have been able to offer classes. And we have the best qualified instructors in the country using our 500-hour comprehensive certification program. So we have the amazing instructors and the best equipment we can possibly find. And each person has their own little station, which has a reformer, a Bosu ball, a TRX mounted on the wall, and then you obviously have mat as well and an exo chair. And so you have a complete station which provides a complete full body workout for any possible age range and any fitness level, because we have so many different classes and levels. So it's really for everyone.
Right. And that's fantastic that it is for everyone, Kate. I think sometimes there's a perception, that, the millennials, of course, fitness is very important to them. But, in the other, when you look at the other, generations, it's so important to move during the day. It seems like, I even think of myself, I'm an online instructor, and sometimes I find myself, sitting at my desk all day, and it's so important to get that type of activity incorporated in your day, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's truly what we wanted everyone to, feel from the brand when we sort of acquired it in 2015. We rebranded and redeveloped the concept so that it was something that everybody could experience and enjoy, and take Pilates out of the elitist kind of very, very niche market that it was in and bring it into mainstream fitness for everyone to enjoy, because the benefits of Pilates are so widespread, and it's not just the experience you have in the workout, it affects you in your daily life, and that's kind of our motto, is do Pilates, do life. We really want it to be part of everyone's life and to reap the benefits, even if it's just simple things like core strength and lifting your grandchild and
Great. What is the growth attributed to, Kate? Because when you look at the numbers, they are, I found them very impressive. Again, you recently signed your 500th franchise deal. Do you find that your customers are like wanting to become franchisees as well, or have you experienced that?
Yes, actually. So when we rebranded and redeveloped the concept in 2015, we really wanted to make it appealing for a number of different, kinds of investors, because typically we would get the Pilates or fitness instructors who really wanted to own their own studio, or, the devout Pilates person who absolutely loves it, does their own practice every day, and then decides to buy into the business. But we really wanted to make it, just a legitimate business investment that anyone would see the benefit of being part of. So that was kind of where we really wanted to position ourselves as the best in Pilates, and there is no one else in this space that's doing what we're doing. So it's pretty exciting.
It sounds like, too, it's an experience, isn't it, Kate? For the customers, of course, as well, is when they go into a Club Pilates, it is, certainly an experience. How do you, when you're meeting with prospective franchisees, like if you were at a franchise show, and someone came up to your booth and they said, the typical question, so what do you guys do? Are you a Pilates franchise? How do you typically respond?
We generally say that, Club Pilates is a boutique fitness concept, and that we are the largest network of Pilates group Pilates classes in the world across the globe at this point. So, you know, we offer a variety of different kinds of classes, and within those classes we offer up to 4 levels. So the way we like to, I guess, communicate the brand to potential franchisees is that it's an all-encompassing experience. The workout is as vigorous as you want it to be, or it doesn't need to be. It can be for any different kind of person coming in with all sorts of different fitness goals and experience. And it's approachable for everyone, and it's also an approachable price point for an investor. You know, the initial investment is significantly less than any other major fitness concept out there at this point, especially big boxes. You know, you need millions for that. So we're far more approachable for people who just decide to have a career change and really just want to get into something new, or a business investor who just likes the idea and can see that it works numbers-wise, or someone who's already in franchising and sees the benefit of adding another concept to their portfolio. So
that's great.
It's for everyone.
What do you look for in your franchisees, or you know, when you're speaking with prospective franchisees, Kate? Because I guess you know you get to meet with a lot of them. How do you know that they're a match for Club Pilates? What do you look for typically?
There's a couple of things we look for. I mean, the obvious thing to begin the process is obviously that we want to make sure that they have some experience and that they're capitalized enough to make sure that it can be the best success it can possibly be. So we have a pretty good vetting process at the start. You know, we have 3 foundational calls to learn about the business and the company values, and then a Q&A with the candidate that corporate runs, and then weekly phone calls with Anthony, the CEO, and then 2 validation calls so that they get to understand from the franchisee's perspective, who's already been, they've had their studio open for a while, either in a similar market or a similar demographic or whatever, so that they understand. And then for us, it's really about making sure that we're transparent and that they understand that this isn't, it's not just like just add water to this mix. It's a business, and you've got to put the hard work and dedication in, but it can be incredibly successful with some hard work and dedication. We do have different kinds of franchisees. We have some that hire all their staff and then just manage them the behind the scenes, and then we have some that are really involved. So it really depends on what they're looking for, and for us it's also just, it's a culture fit. We want to make sure that they're investing in the future of the business with us. So it's a partnership rather than just a quick buy-in and their heart and soul's not in it. So that would be sort of our main criteria.
Do a lot of your franchisees, do they start off as like single unit franchisees, Kate, or and then do you find that they become like multiple unit franchisees? I saw some of the clips online, and one woman, it was really very impressive. She started off with, of course, 1 single unit, and then bought another, and you start looking at the numbers and you say, oh my God, but is that typically how it starts off, with 1 single unit and then they move to multi-unit?
It depends on the kind of franchisee and what experience they have. So I think our original owners, who sort of came on when Allison had the business, they were the Pilates instructors who bought single units in San Diego. And then we noticed a bit of a shift in terms of who was becoming, part of the family, and it was a lot of multi-unit investors who bought either 3 units at once, 3 studios, or 6, or even 10. And then you'll always have your single units who, as I said, is sort of, maybe just recently retired or wanting a career change and just wanting to do something different with their life. So it varies depending on what their business goals are and what they want as an investment. But I would say that our major growth over the last 2.5 years has been because we've had so many people really, really believe in the brand and want to buy more than one.
Sure.
So they buy more than one at the start, which is fantastic.
What is the training like, Kate? I mean, once, decide that, you do like them, they like you, and they do come aboard as a franchisee, I mean, do they typically come out to corporate? Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
How's the whole training process work?
Essentially, as soon as you sign your franchise agreement, we want to see you in the corporate office doing our 3-day training. So they'll be walked through every department and get training for every single thing. So whether that's sales, marketing, real estate, retail, HR, finance is covered over a 3-day period, along with weekly sales and marketing calls for anyone leading up to their grand open, and anyone who is coming on board as the general manager. They'll do a special GM training in addition. So some of our franchisees decide that they want to be their own general manager as well, and so they'll need to go through the training of that as well. So typically it's 3 days initially, and then depending on what their level of experience is, they'll sort of lean on certain areas for extra support. Typically that's mostly sales and marketing to get them off the ground and ready for their grand open.
That's terrific. It seems like, in looking at the industry, over, several decades, Kate, I mean, the industry for Pilates is certainly growing. Are there numbers as far as, like, how big the industry is at today? It's probably hard to keep track.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Well, according to the most recent research that was done by Iversworld and validated recently by Bain, the Pilates industry itself is actually worth $1.8 billion.
Wow.
That's excluding the yoga industry. So that's a huge number, and lots of potential for people to really enjoy this workout.
That's incredible. You wonder if, like, Joseph Pilates had any idea how big,
I know.
Pilates would become over the course of time. I'm sure he would be very amazed today.
His ultimate goal. That was his ultimate goal when he created the workout. He really just wanted everyone to reap the benefits of Pilates, and if he could only see what we're achieving now, I mean, he'd be pretty happy.
I imagine. If you could look into a crystal ball, Kate, I mean, what are the immediate growth and development plans for Club Pilates then?
Our immediate, I would say, between now and the end of the year, and into the beginning of 2018, we're really looking to sell out in the U.S. market. I think between now and the end of the year, we will have sold between 700 and 750 units across the country, and we've already started selling in Canada, which is our next goal, and then of course we want to look internationally and start looking at which countries to extend into, based on a timeline of what's possible. So that's our sort of immediate goals, and I guess we have certain markets in the US that are almost completely sold out, and we have some that still have capacity, and some are in major markets, and some are sort of more in the secondary market. So there's still some great opportunity for people to be part of.
Right. Because Pilates is an international concept, from what I understand too, right? I mean, as well as other countries that, of course, participate in Pilates. So it just seems like the sky is the limit, when it comes to Club Pilates.
It really is. It really is. And I think that there's a lot of countries. It's the same in other countries. I mean, I've looked at Australia and the UK. They're my two sort of guinea pigs, I guess you could say. And it's a similar situation there where typically it's very small boutique Pilates studios that really only have one or two reformers and can't offer it to a bigger audience, even though the community is probably would absolutely love it. So there's huge opportunity there.
That's fantastic. What's the best way for our listeners, Kate, to get more information on Club Pilates, from a consumer standpoint, and of course the franchise opportunity itself? Is there any websites that they should go to?
Absolutely. So clubpilatesfranchise.com is where you can go for everything you need. anything to do with the investment. And then clubpilates.com is for classes and studio locations and anything related to trying out a class.
That's fantastic. I've really enjoyed having you on the show today, Kate, and I'd really like to invite you back as you continue to grow. I think this is a great franchise opportunity for our listeners, so it was great to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Marty. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kate. It's been my pleasure, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Coming up on segment 2, you're going to hear what every franchipreneur needs to know before buying a franchise. We're going to play a clip from our popular Great Quotes in Franchising podcast right here on Franchise Interviews.
Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 8 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919. Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. Today you're going to get to hear from a legend in franchising. It was about months ago, Don and I were celebrating our anniversary of doing the radio show, and we put a lot of thought as far as who we'd like to have for a guest that particular day, and Don and I both agreed that that person should be George Nadeff, and Mr. Nadeff graciously accepted. For those of you who don't know George Nadeff, he's tagged as the guru in franchising. He's also the founder of Boston Chicken. He had a lot of great quotes that show. This is just one of them where George gives his advice to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise. Here we go.
The characteristics that make a successful no-fat franchisee?
Well, you know, I've always told people to play to their strengths. If you have a personality you know is not a charming one, don't get into the service business where you have to interact with people, because people business requires personality. So, you know, you're not asking someone to do something that's against their grain. So when looking for a franchise, a person should consider the things that they've succeeded in. For instance, if they've been a coach of a soccer team and they had to inspire the kids to run down that field and kick that ball and win, there's something about that individual that is inspiring. So he should look for something that maybe can be along those same lines, that he can use those talents of his. If he's been a teacher, he's been a person that's worked with his hands. In other words, always play to your strength. Don't go into something that's opposite of your personality. That will cause a little bit of a problem. Of course, most companies offer training, but if you put a glove on, it should fit neatly in between the fingers. It shouldn't be something that once you put the glove on, you can't bend your fingers. It's as simple as that. So when you're buying a franchise, it should fit.
And I guess no fat specifically. You have a checklist you go down that you want each franchisee to be, or sometimes it's just having a feeling of a certain person?
It's clearly a financial issue. They have to have, in our case, pretty close to the ability to finance something between $500,000 and $600,000. So if an individual can't do that, then maybe he should look for other franchises like a Subway or a Quiznos or other that are around the $200,000. So again, here we talk about fitting something that fits their pocketbook and not get into something that's way over their head and put themselves in financial jeopardy by starting in something that is too hard for them to overcome. So again, it should fit their wallet just like it should fit their personality.
Right, absolutely. And you've, of course, been involved with so many franchisees with all your different businesses that you've done. Have there been times over the years that you sort of took a chance on someone that you weren't really sure, but you really liked them, and it's worked out? I'm sure you have a couple success stories.
Yeah, there have been those cases, and again, they've been the opposite. And again, you learn by doing the thing. I would much prefer to tell a person that he's not qualified than qualified. And the rationale behind that, of course, is that I don't want to get somebody into something that he's not qualified for. There are so many franchise selections out there that if a person's doing their research, it allows them the opportunity to really, really take the time and investigate. And most of these companies already have franchises in place. They can pick up the phone and call up the franchisee and say, how you doing? What kind of work did you do before you bought this franchise? Tell me about why you chose it. Would you do it again? I mean, this is a great opportunity as opposed to starting something on your own where you don't know whether you'll ever get the first base. Franchising in the beginning is very much like a baseball game. If you can buy third base as opposed to getting to first base, and getting to first base by starting your own business, maybe you'll get the first base, but there's no guarantee. But if you can buy a franchise, you at least can get the third base. That's good baseball. And when you get the third base, your chances of getting home is a lot easier than being on first.
Wow, that's a great analogy, isn't it, Don?
Yeah, and it sounds like you're a Red Sox fan.
Thank you very much.
I love that quote.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.